Everything we do is under fire. Elon Musk sits on Twitter every day, or X today, saying like, we are the media, you are the media. My message to Elon Musk is, bullshit. You're not the media. You having a blue check mark, a Twitter handle, and 300 words of cleverness doesn't make you a reporter any more than me looking at your head and seeing that you have a brain and telling you have an awesome set of tools makes me a damn neurosurgeon, right? Like what we do, what journalists do, what you did in Mississippi, what Al Jazeera does in the Middle East. You don't proclaim yourself to be a reporter. Like that's nonsense. Like being a reporter is hard, really hard. You have to care. You have to do the hard work. You have to get up every single day and say, I want to get to the closest approximation of the truth without any fear, without any favoritism. You don't do that by popping off on Twitter. You don't do that by having an opinion. You do it by doing the hard work.
Yeah, come on, slow clap, everybody. Whoa. First of all, I've got to say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors do, lying about everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about what people like you do.
As you saw from the intro, Axios CEO decided to have a full-blown meltdown over the fact that Elon Musk proclaimed that X is the media now. Hey, look at me. X is media now. Now he's pissed, right? And he talks about, all this little virtue signaling he's doing. At the end of the day, I always follow actions, not people's words. The words sound good, right? We're trying to get as close to the proximity to the truth that we can. Isn't it truthful for me to be like, hey, as an individual, I understand that I have bias, and the best that I can do is show you my references to what is facilitating my opinion or my interpretation of events, and leave it up to you to decide for yourself what credibility my talking points have. But with this guy, right, he wants to discredit anyone who didn't go through the proper channels, who don't have the proper credentials to be considered reporters. I believe in this segment that I am what I repeatedly do. If I report the news, I consider myself a reporter. Not because I went to journalism school, because at the end of the day, if people base it on the merits, this is why I'm for meritocracy. I don't care if you have a background in journalism. I don't care if you got a degree in journalism. If one person reports something and another person report another thing, and the person that doesn't have a journalism degree report the news, reports the events more accurately than the person who is part of the credentialized pedigree of journalism, people are going to follow the person, regardless if he has a journalism degree or not. And this form of gatekeeping is what destroyed the journalism, in my opinion, because journalism didn't start off like, if you look at the history of journalism, it started off with just people reporting what they're seeing, right? And it's Rich from Axios, right? That if you see his bias, this is from All Sides bias chart. Axios leans left on their bias chart. So the idea that, and as you know, CNN already reported that in 2024, the parity of political ideology on X is damn near, there's parity. 48% Democrat, 47% Republican on X as of 2024. But now it's a problem that people are here trading notes online. And this is what the media can't stand. All the media, look, what he's really pissed about, and what Axios CEO is really pissed about, is that they no longer can build consensus because truth is a distraction.
But one of the most significant differences, critical for moving from polarization to productivity, is that the Wikipedians who write these articles aren't actually focused on finding the truth. They're working for something that's a little bit more attainable, which is the best of what we can know right now. And after 7 years there, I actually believe that they're onto something. That for our most tricky disagreements, seeking the truth and seeking to convince others of the truth isn't necessarily the best place to start. In fact, I think our reverence for the truth might have become a bit of a distraction that is preventing us from finding consensus and getting important things done.
Like what NPR said. Like imagine the NPR CEO said that looking for the truth is a distraction from building consensus. What did that mean? We want to control information. And I want to show you this clip of Scott Jennings highlights, because to me, and for many people, if it wasn't for Scott Jennings, I think CNN will have no credibility.
Democrats who say, oh, in private meetings, I've seen Joe Biden do cartwheels and handstands while doing trigonometry while solving all the nation's problems. We now know that every single person who said that has been lying to the American people. One day, Donald Trump couldn't hold a glass of water, and we had like every medical person coming out of the woodwork. Should we have the 25th Amendment? Joe Biden could barely walk up the stairs.
And I would argue no proof that tech companies colluded to do this. This is nonsense, and he knows it. No, I'm sorry.
There was a major institutional effort.
No, there
to
was
suppress
dozens and
Was the New
dozens
York
of
Post
them.
thrown off Twitter?
They were, and then they. Scott, let me try again.
The story off Twitter.
Scott,
Let's let
Scott,
Kara finish, because
literally
she's
don't know
actually
what you're
done.
talking
I mean,
about,
she's
so
done the
it's
work.
really hard to deal with you.
You want to
It's-
insult me? Go ahead.
No.
If you called Kentucky Fried Chicken and said, I'd like to interview Colonel Sanders. Now, his face is on the bucket. He doesn't make the chicken anymore. In fact, he's not even alive anymore. This is what the Democrats are asking people to do. Vote for the face on the bucket. He was fine and he's strong and then he's fine today. Nobody believes that. And I just think at some point, then why isn't he running?
It's organic. The entire Kamala Harris campaign has been organic. And so now we're...
What? Organic. This is the literal most manufactured presidential campaign ever. She didn't even run. Well, quite a few people will vote for Harris, so I think we should all open up a head examination in doctor's office. We'll have plenty of people to...
In all those
look at.
categories.
A lot of men think Democrats care more about dudes who want to become women than dudes who just want to be dudes.
Well,
And
that's crazy.
it's pretty apparent the disdain with which they hold half of the country in.
That's crazy, Scott.
I'm sorry. I'm just reading the journalism. I'm pro-journalist here. I'm reading the journalism about Hunter Biden running the ship here. She's like a true double threat. You know, she's terrible on her feet when she gets unexpected questions, and simultaneously, she can't even answer the expected questions. You give me too much credit. I wish I had some billionaire friends. You know, what's a mistake you've made? Nothing. What's a weakness you have? Nothing. What's the first law you want to pass? Nothing. What's a policy difference between you and Joe Biden? Nothing. Over and over and over. Empty, empty, empty. If she were an animal, she'd be a duck-billed platitude. But look, it's a total... Or in Walls himself, who gave the most disastrous response to a question about his own dishonesty about being in Tiananmen Square that I've ever heard. Effectively, what he has said is, sorry, guys, I'm too dumb to tell the truth. Fabrications in his own resume. And his answer was essentially, me no understand words good. I mean, is a buffoon.
Kamala Harris and Tim Walz believes is that it's none of your business what women do with their body. And so stay out of our doctor's offices and stay out of our bedrooms.
Well, I guess I'll have to speak up for the babies. They're not here to speak for themselves. Lord have mercy.
I got more, right? And this is a CEO, right? He's very upset that, influencers are getting have more influence over the masses. But end of the day, the outcomes speak for itself, right? And I'm just going to go into the comment section, right? Axios, people do not trust you because of crap like this. Axios accused GOP of fabricating Kamala Harris's border czar title 3 years after reporting she was Biden's border czar. Make it make sense. But we're trying to get as close to approximately to the truth as possible. This is off this virtue signaling to protect his own interests. This is the one thing I've been highlighting a lot on mainstream channels, right? Is that they're sitting here trying to essentially protect their interests. And if you look at the bias, I already showed you, according to all sides media bias, that Axios leans left. But enough of me talking. I want to react to a clip that we've seen from Joe Scarborough continuing that conversation. And it just goes to show how out of touch these people are. And then they want to blame everyone but themselves and how they're doing things. And they're not really holding themselves accountable. And this is just all of a sympathy. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yes. But look at the results. No one trusts y'all. And instead of seeking actual information and accountability and self-reflection and actually do the work to actually fix the perception that's happening to you guys, right? And this is who I'm talking about. NPR CEO Catherine Meyer truth is a distraction from getting things done. Getting what done? And taxpayer money is funding that? Scott Jennings is a national hero. We need more people who are unafraid to speak the truth directly to those who disagree with them. CNN is MSNBC without Scott Jennings. Who agree? Who agree? Let me know in the comment section if you agree with that. You got Mediaite, right? Mediaite, another left-wing publication, right? Hey, Mediaite, it's not misgendering to call a man a he, nor does it become so because the man prefers she. The whole issue here is whether he should use her bathroom. Preferred pronouns are a lie and part of the problem. Fox News host misgenders trans Congresswoman-elect Sarah McBride in interview. This is the media that you're saying that, oh, that should have more credibility than people on X, but people on X are actively debating a lot of the ways you guys frame these things. Because end of the day, when you have people like CEO of NPR saying that truth is a distraction of getting things done, it leads us to think, and this is how I think as an American, is that your job is not to inform us, it's to build a narrative, to build a perception. That is what you're thinking about getting something done. And you can debate me in the comment section, but you can't deny that this is the reality of how things are. And they're mad that the mechanisms in which they use to build consensus, aka build a narrative to get buy-in from the American people, they're mad that it's harder to do so now more than ever. But I'm done talking. I'm done with my little monologue here. Let's get into the reaction video.
Gotta say, extraordinary content. It needed to be said.
Yeah.
It continues to need to be said. When all of the garbage is flying around on social media, lying about reporters, lying about the hard work they do, lying about the hard work editors.
I don't think anyone's saying that journalists don't work hard. What people are criticizing journalists or these people who claim themselves to be journalists and the perception of these journalists is a lot of them have bias, but sit here and pretend that they're being objective about topics when they get exposed by these people online or by the American people or get called out for, hey, like you're spreading misinformation, right? COVID, I just showed you called Kamala Harris border czar 3 years ago. Now all of a sudden, now Axios is reporting that she's not the border czar. She never was a border czar. Oh, we made a mistake. We're calling Kamala Harris the border czar. This is the critique people online are having, that there's no checks and balances. It seems like you guys don't know how to manage yourselves to make sure that the most accurate information is being presented free from biased. And this is the problem I think many people are having. And this little circle jerk they're doing is just a way of them making themselves feel better to try to present themselves as, oh, we're not the problem. You're the problem, America. When most Americans believe that the media is who's dividing Americans. But they don't want to hear it. They just want to live in their own little bubble and ignore all the criticism, all the substantive criticism that they're getting for how they go about, how they approach their reporting.
Who lying about everything up and down about not only their alternative set of facts, but alternative set of facts about
facts are facts, right? And just because you don't like the alternative facts, you can't say they're not true. And that's where the narrative game debates. End of the day, data doesn't prove a narrative. Data only proves a result. And to pretend that, oh, alternative set of facts as if that's wrong, it's not. Hey, we have something that counters what you're saying. So that means the narrative you're trying to build up is not true. This is the argument. And I love how they get so mad about what people say online, but they don't get mad about the misrepresentations, the misframings, the desperate attacks that they do against people who go against their interests. They don't talk about how they build a fake consensus and get people to believe make-believe things. COVID woke up a lot of people to this. Oh, there's no scientific evidence that mask works. But what there was taught, what was the media people on the TV was telling us? Oh, you gotta wear a mask. You gotta stay 6 feet away. Natural immunity isn't a thing. This was so-called journalism in 2020, and now y'all mad. Y'all getting exposed.
What people like you do. And I love how you connected reporters in Mississippi in the 1960s to reporters fighting for their life to get the story out in the Middle East today. Jim, it was very powerful.
Really good.
Very powerful. Even if even if we had to beep you more than we would if we ran a Dave Chappelle concert,
I
it was
like
still
it.
good.
Jim's mild-mannered.
He
preached it, though. The cadence, I mean, I might get him ordained.
Well, let me just say, why this is so important right
People
now,
trying to protect their
more
jobs
than ever, is because critics of the press are feeling more empowered than ever to lie more than ever.
You lie more than ever. You just finished calling Trump Hitler, and then a week later, you're over there at Mar-a-Lago trying to make peace with him, getting exposed by your old audience. Yet you want to get mad at the critics? Are the critics right or are they wrong? That's the only thing I care about. If the critics have some validity to what they're saying, then I think you need to address it or understand where they're coming from instead of sitting here trying to build a perception to try to discredit them. I think you guys got too comfortable. And this is why you're losing viewerships, because the results speak for itself. Liberal media complain about, we're hollowing out. Washington Post losing money. You're running out of deficit. $40 million y'all lose a year. Washington Post. All this correlation, all these instances happening across your industry, and y'all still don't get it. Sad.
I've had friends for years going, I'm so overwhelmed, Joe, by the news. I don't read the news. I go, where do you get your news then? Epic Times. I go,
Oh, God.
You get your news from a website run by Chinese, by conspiracy theorists in a Chinese religious cult. That is where you get the news. No. Or if social media, people lying every day, every hour.
But this is the difference. If your guys are lying, misrepresenting, misframing, trying to build a narrative, if the people online can accuse you, TV media hosts, of the same thing, what's the difference? People will go with who is more accurate, who is closer to the truth. Natural immunity is a thing. Masks don't work. 6 feet won't prevent COVID. Just because you got vaccinated doesn't mean you're cured of COVID. You can still get COVID even if you're vaccinated. You said all that was a lie. 3 years later, they were proven more right than you were. So end of the day, the track record speaks for itself. If people online gets it more right than people on TV, people are going to trust the people online more than the people on the TV. Simple. It's very simple. But when they're doing all this little complex showboating, talking, it's in an effort to confuse you, to mislead you. The simple conclusion is the most clear conclusion. The clear conclusion is the people online has a better track record than the people on the TV. I'll give it one more minute and then I'll end it with my final thoughts.
Every minute about the news. What you do matters. What the New York Times does matters. What the Wall Street Journal does matters. What Jonathan Lemire does matters. What the Financial Times does matters. What NBC News and MSNBC reporters do matters. It matters.
And it doesn't mean there aren't things that we get wrong. And the reason I guess I was hopped up at that speech was I listened to so many reporters who feel like the industry's going to hell. Nobody trusts them. They're demoralized. And the truth is we don't have time to be demoralized. We don't have time to whine. We have to do our job. Like, there is a information war out there, and there's still tens of millions of people that depend on great reporting, and it's our job to make sure we create viable businesses around it and that we really do try to get to the closest approximation of the truth. Maybe do a little bit, maybe be more curious than condescending, maybe a little more fearless than foaming at the mouth. And I think if we can do those things, I think we can win back people who are skeptical. The entire social media ecosystem, a lot of the things you just mentioned, they feed off of all of us trying to get to the closest approximation of truth. So people just, I think they need to calm down. I know there's a lot of your viewers who kind of wish that sometimes everything was just like boom, boom, boom on one side. But we have to bring people facts. We have to bring people clarity and hopefully reported insights so they can ultimately make better decisions and understand a very, very complicated world.
It sounds good, but what's the execution like? Your bias still leans left, Axios CEO, right? A lot of you guys, end of the day, I hear, oh, the MSNBC matters, New York Times matters, right? Axios matters, journalism matters. But you know what matters more than all of those things combined? Results, track record, accuracy. Those matter more. And if the online people, the information they put out is more accurate, if the narratives they put out is more accurate than what's on the TV, it doesn't matter how much millions of dollars you have behind you guys. Doesn't matter if, oh, these trusted, we got all the credibility, we got all the credentials. It doesn't matter. People only go towards things that work. And for too long, you guys has misused your credentials, your capital, your benefit of the doubt, your credibility. And you got to start from the bottom and work your way right back up to being trusted again. And it's not going to start with this lecturing. The Axios CEO talks about less condescending and more curiosity. That rant you just saw in my intro, did that seem like any curiosity to you, or it came across more condescending? I'll let you decide that in the comment section. But for me, it came across more condescending. It came to me like you lack understanding. You lack the real criticism, the real critique about your industry. Is that many people feel it that you guys use this platform, this authority you guys have, this fake authority, this perceived authority you have to push a worldview and to try to build a consensus. So that way the American people come away with your interpretation of events. And you try to frame your interpretation of events as the objective reality when it's only your opinion, when it's only your purview, when it's only your perception. And your perception isn't the reality of the situation. And when we try to bring in alternative facts, you try to discredit it as misinformation, disinformation. When reality is an alternative worldview informed by factual statements. And you can't discredit the facts that the alternative view is referencing, so you call it alternative facts and try to label it to give it this perception of it being a bad thing. And this is the media landscape that we have today. And you know that you're just trying to protect your business interest, your interest. This is a conflict of interest right here. Is that you know this online space is competing for your market share. And you see us as a threat to that. And you know you can't control it. You know you can't really compete against it. And this is why you lashed out in the intro. But you sitting here pretending that you're standing up for some morality and virtue. Get out of here. I know, as I always know, that it is in your interest. It's in your interest to protect what you got going on right now. Your whole business can go bankrupt right now. MSNBC tomorrow can be gone. Elon Musk is in a position where he could technically buy it if he wants to. You see this as a disruptor coming into your space and mucking up everything that you got comfortable knowing. You're just trying to protect your own interest. And that's the reality of this whole situation. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, what you guys are thinking in the comment section. Do you believe that he's being sincere, insincere? Does the words match the deeds? I'll let you hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching to end the video. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.